I asked our mortician Tracy 11 questions, and the answers are going to shock you. Stick around for the last one, where we talk to Tracy about some creepy experiences that she's had working as a mortician. Enjoy. Have you ever had a case so bad you were unable to do any sort of embalming?
Okay, a case where you really can't do any embalming is a severely burnt hair, which there's really nothing left to embalm, and it's black and charred bones. But as for decomposition to a stage where we've got the body that's blackened in colour, it's got a lot of fluid, the arteries are all broken down because the case is so decomposed, we're full of maggots. What we can do is do what we call an embalming bath, and that's basically putting a lot of covers down, basically towels on my table, covering that with embalming chemicals, and towels across the top, covering it with embalming chemicals, and wrapping the body in plastic and sealing it. So it's like an oven where we seal the body, so the fumes from the embalming chemical actually start to penetrate through the body and embalm topically. So we can't embalm with the normal circulatory system because it's not working, it's broke down and it's decomposed. But we can do a topical embalm, which is wrapping it like in a cover and embalm that way. But it doesn't last for a long time. This is only just in case the family desperately want to have a viewing, and then we can stop that smell and get rid of the wetness of the body and seal the body so it's easier to wash and dress later, and try and make them look well. They won't be presentable, but we can, give some comfort to the family by saying you can touch the body, but it'll be still wrapped up, and we got rid of the smell. So yeah, great question. Thanks.
Hey Tracy. My friend had liquid coming from her eyes the day of the funeral.
Oh.
The undertaker had to keep wiping her eyes.
Oh. Well, liquid from the eyes could be a number of things, but it could be edema, which is basically water retention, and when we die, our body breaks down naturally as it starts to decompose, and edema is just water fluid, and it breaks down through the cells are all breaking down, so fluid starts to leak, and sometimes it's really difficult to stop that if we haven't cauterized the area very well. But also could be another reason is maybe the embalmer, mortician, whoever's cared for them, has had to inject the eye area because they were sunken and didn't looked a bit too dried or dehydrated. So what we do is inject with some embalming chemical, which is a bit like having Botox, puff the eyes underneath up in the eyelids, and sometimes there's just some slight leakage from that as well, so it could be that also. So without actually knowing, it could be one of them two things. So hopefully it didn't distress you too much. So it's only either just a bit water or a little bit chemical that was leaking out, and I'm sure they tried to do their best to, make her look as beautiful as they could for you guys. So yeah, but a great question. Thanks.
Hey Chose.
Hi.
We had a comment to that. I was told that you can refuse a post-mortem to be performed on your body if that's your wish. Is that true?
Well, now, that's coronial, and that has nothing to do with funeral homes. And refusing the post-mortem is probably, it depends on the law, where you are and what part of the world and where you come from. But if your death is suspicious, if it's homicide, possibly suicide, any of them ones, the coroner will request an autopsy and a post-mortem, and that means that you probably can't refuse, or the family cannot refuse that, because it's an investigation and it's a coronial thing that needs to be investigated. And unfortunately, in them cases, you will not be able to refuse that. But people that die naturally and pass away, generally in a nursing home or, with cancers that are expected to die, then we don't have post-mortems. Not everybody is autopsied. Not everybody has a post-mortem. It's a fallacy that we'll all have to go through that. It's absolutely hardly anybody does. So it's only in suspicious circumstances and homicides and different things that are deemed coronial, then it's the coroner has the authority to order an autopsy to be done. So, good question.
We had a comment to that. Do you ever find any parasites?
Okay, well, we're talking bugs. I find bugs sometimes. Maggots quite often, especially on a body that's starting to decompose badly. Head lice. Actually, I had a lot of head lice also. And sometimes there's flies as well that have obviously found a deceased flown on them but died because they've been put in cold storage. So, and sometimes when I give people's clothes, I find cockroaches in them, and that's just because they've been in the cupboard. When I shake them out, there's a cockroach falls out, but that's the clothes. But as in parasites, well, they're usually too small to see, but definitely flies, definitely maggots and cockroaches I've found. So yeah, ooh.
Hey Tracy.
Hello.
We had a comment today. How is your daily appetite affected by your work?
Oh, I love to eat. My appetite is not affected at all, really. I still like to have my breaks and have my lunch. But there's a fun fact about working in a mortuary and about hunger, especially if you work with decomposition, especially decomposed bodies. There's something that triggers something in your brain that makes you really, really hungry. It's bizarre, I know, because you've got that smell, you've got that awful look, you've got decomposed body. The smell is pretty horrific. You finish all the preparation, you go up, you get cleaned up, you take your full PP off, you go off and you go, oh my God, I'm so hungry. I could eat anything. So your appetite, well, mine and most morticians you talk to, is never affected. We like to eat.
Hey Tracy.
Hi.
We had a comment today.
Yes.
I'm wondering if you'd aspirate a pregnant woman the same you would a non-pregnant female.
Okay, so when we aspirate a body, we're aspirating this part of the area, the cavity area, where we make the incision in here and use the trocar. Everybody will be aspirated the same way. Now, I don't know if anybody's pregnant. Say I get a lady in and she has no obvious signs of being pregnant. I would not know if she was carrying a baby or not. You know, if I don't get any information, and maybe the lady didn't know she was pregnant. It could be early stages. If the pregnancy is actually very obvious, the baby's usually removed prior to them coming into a funeral home, so they would be separated. So if I don't know the pregnant, and even if I do know the pregnant, the aspirating would be exactly the same. Yep, just the same.
We had a really interesting comment coming today.
Yeah.
What does the baby bath look like?
Well, here we are. This is a baby bath. It just looks like any regular baby bath. It is a normal baby bath. And I embalm babies in here as well as wash babies in here. It does have a plug at the bottom where we can drain anything out of. And if I turn it over, you'll see that it drains out of here. Any excess embalming fluid that I need to get out. But what I use the baby bath for is when we embalm tiny babies is I will just submerge the body into the bath of embalming fluid with the head raised up. The head doesn't go in, and then cover it with a towel, leave that overnight, take the baby out, take all the fluid out and give the baby a wash. So yeah, it's just a regular bath.
Hey Tracy.
Hi.
We had a comment today. Do dead bodies ever blink or twitch?
No. I've never had a dead body blink or twitch or anything like that, or move really. There's lots of noises come out of dead bodies because we get a buildup of gas, and that gas leaks out through the mouth and the nose and then make a little bit of sound, like air escape. And then when I move the body, a lot of air can escape from the lungs, so that makes a bit of noise. But for moving, no, I've never seen the body open or close the eyes or blink or twitch or anything like that. So no, not at all.
Hey Tracy, we had a comment today. If the mum dies while she's 9 months pregnant, is it possible that the baby can be saved?
Oh wow. Well, that's a big open question because it depends on many factors. It depends on where has the mother died. Has it been an accident or anything like that? If it's like say a car accident, possible that the baby will not survive. If the mother died in hospital where she's being cared for by hospital staff, it's a possibility the baby can be saved. And it also depends on the cause of death as well. So it's a big open question. I can't give you a definite answer to. So scenarios depend on a lot of things. So yes, possible, and no otherwise. So yeah, it's a difficult one, very sad one as well.
Hey Tracy.
Hello.
We had an interesting comment today. Where does the blood go of the deceased? Is it saved or flushed down the drain?
Oh, I'm not going to be saving anybody's blood or anything like that, no. Well, when I embalm and we're flushing the blood from the body and replacing it with embalming chemicals, it actually goes down the drain. It goes down into the sewage system, and then it will be filtered and processed, and the sewage works just like any other fluid. So when you use a toilet, any of us, we urinate into a toilet, we defecate into a toilet, blood goes into a toilet from anything, even the bleed or women's natural periods, and we vomit into toilets when we're not very well. So it's exactly the same. It all goes into the toilet, not into a toilet, but into the sewage system. It all gets taken away by the sewage and filtered out that way and cleaned. So it's exactly the same. There's nothing weird about it or icky about it. It's just the same as every other kind of bodily fluid we have as we're alive. It has to go in the sewage. So yeah, never save it.
Hey Tracy.
Hi.
You mentioned you had a couple of creepy experiences. Can you name another one?
Yes. I've had an experience where I often play the radio in the mortuary, and I keep changing channels. And a while ago, and it wasn't in this mortuary, it was in another funeral home I worked at, I tried to turn the radio off because I'd had enough and all of that. And every time I went to turn the radio off and I went to prep a body, it came back on. But then it would switch to a different station because I only like rock music and all that kind of stuff. So I would have it not loud, but playing in the background. And for a long time, it just kept switching on when I kept switching it off. And then it would flick to another station. So it kind of freaked me out. So then I got a speaker that's not attached to anything, and it's not a radio, it's just the Bluetooth chibi speaker. And I tend to not do that anymore. So yes, I don't get freaked out anymore about the radio. Don't like the radio. Spooky.
This is my family, you are my people.